Back in '66, I starred in a little Hitchcock thriller called Torn Curtain. I played a physicist pretending to defect to East Germany, all part of a plan to steal a secret formula. Espionage, betrayal, a whole lot of running in overcoats. But let me tell you, the real secret formula? It's in my salad dressing. Zesty, bold, and smooth. Just like yours truly. No cloak, no dagger, just dressing. Newman's own. Suspiciously delicious.
Let the movie speak.
Welcome back, everybody. We are, I always say this, we're midway, whatever.
10.
We're at 10.
I think we're at 10.
Okay, let's count. We're really good at counting.
No, we're really bad at counting. I think we have 3 left. I'm subtracting rather than adding.
Yeah, we are almost done with the 60s. Let's just say it that way.
Yes.
And we hit a little bump. Last couple movies, I would say. Nothing horrifying, but a little lull. There was a lull.
Mirage was boring.
Mirage was boring.
I think that's what we're trying to say.
With a couple interesting parts. Come Blow Your Horn was like, eh.
It was fine.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty excited about the last stretch here, though.
Yes.
Because I a little bit expected today's movie to be one of the worst on the list.
Yeah, I did bad counting. We have 4 left. That makes this 9.
Yeah. So we are here to teach you counting.
We don't teach math.
We don't. Yeah. The last 5, if you include this one, which I will now because spoiler alert, I enjoyed this movie.
I did as well.
Yeah. I think they're all impossible to be boring episodes.
No, we've got we're finishing with a strong set.
I mean, I wouldn't put anything past us. Like, we could make them boring, but the movies are good.
Yes.
And also, we're going to have a couple guests for the last few episodes. Megan will be back, and then a new guest for, I think, next week if we can make it happen. So we need to talk about Torn Curtain from 1966. It's a movie by a director that you might know and care about, Alfred Hitchcock. Did a few movies people like.
We've covered
39 Steps, Rope,
and Vertigo.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's had a good representation here.
We've done 30s, 40s, 50s. So he's like
one a decade.
Basically one a decade. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting one because before we watched it, Annie, we had never heard of it.
Neither of us.
Which is weird for a Hitchcock.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot to talk about, and I'm excited, but we've got to talk about what we watched this week. Okay. What I watched this week.
Yes, sir.
Was first I went, again, I'm waiting on this AMC Stubbs Pass sponsorship to kick in where they just give us both free movies.
We would accept.
Yeah, come on, AMC. What are you doing? I went to the movies and I saw the new Fantastic Four movie.
How was it?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, dear.
No, here's the thing. I did a big kind of rewatch with my kids from the Iron Man through Endgame, which is like 25 movies. It took us months, and it was fun. It was fun. Like, my kids have never watched a superhero movie.
Most of those were funny.
A lot of them are like fun and well made. The world building is good and whatever. Like, I have my complaints, but it was fun to watch with the family. And then I was like, we're taking a break.
Yes.
That was 25 freaking movies.
That's a lot of superheroes.
Yes. And my kids don't know how to stop. Just like if you give them a bag of candy, they'll eat the whole thing.
Right.
And
because they're children.
These kids are in fact children. Yes. And so they took a break, and the stuff that came out after Endgame was all received less evenly.
True.
Like messier, critically reviewed, and the audiences were like, what? And there's like too many TV shows to watch, otherwise you don't know what's going on. So I tapped out. Like, I've only seen a couple of them since whatever that was, 2019 or whatever. And so I have the movie thing, and I was like, this is what's new this week. So I went and saw it, and it's probably my favorite one they've ever made.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's saying
by
a lot.
Like a good stretch. So Justin and I back in the day kind of watched through WandaVision while it was happening and talked about it on the show. It's the same director from that series. And he has a really like weirdly good eye for like retro visuals. That show did this thing with like decades of sitcoms and like really did an incredible job like imitating the Dick Van Dyke thing and the, every decade's look for a sitcom. And so when I heard this guy was directing the movie and they were going to make it like mid-century retro period piece, not to mention it's like all the messy multiverse, like bad storytelling that was happening, too much quantity over quality. It's just like, this is a clean entry point.
Sure.
It's a different universe. This is like mid 60s and you just like jump in.
Right.
That's all a good choice, like, because they need to kind of like shake the edge of sketch. But the things about it that are really good. So I went and saw it and I was sitting there and I was like, this is going to be 2 hours. It'll probably be like meh. And I'll be like, whatever.
Right.
And then I was like, as the movie kept going, I was like, this is good. Like, this is really good. And like lots of stuff about it is good. It looks amazing. It's the best looking movie I think they've ever made. Like the sets are built. They built these it's a perfect movie to kind of transition to talking about Torn Curtain a little bit today because it's a 60s period piece and the sets are like these huge, it's way like kind of amplified because it's not exactly our Earth, our timeline or whatever. So like their version is, it looks more Tomorrowlandy.
Sure.
But it's everything's tactile, like giant circular computer screens and like weird record players, and everything looks incredible, especially if you're into the mid-century thing, which I kind of am. So it looks amazing. The storytelling is like so thoughtful, and like there are not planets falling out of the sky kind of stakes where you're just like, I can't even process. Like those movies just went so far and had to keep one-upping themselves where you're like, I don't know what to think about any of this at this point. There's just a good villain and the family at the center. And the things I liked about it most were the score is amazing. It's by Michael Giacchino, who's done a million things as of late. Some Marvel stuff, some Pixar stuff. He did direct that Werewolf by Night thing a couple years ago, but he's an incredible composer. He's like probably one of the best working composers. And this score is incredible. Like it's really, like I noticed how good it was while I was watching the movie, which means it's good and it didn't like distract, but like it supported everything.
Right.
So the score is really good. I'm going to notice that because I'm a nerd, but the character work is really good. Especially it's like Marvel has tried to very few degrees of success to do the like girl power kind of like female lead.
Yeah, they
like,
haven't done that real well.
No, and like I appreciate the swing most of the time. Like I didn't hate Captain Marvel, but it felt quite forced. Right. And everybody kind of like reacted to that. And the mom character in this is so good. Like everything about it's about having a baby and like the baby is part of the story or whatever. But like, man, I just was watching it like they nailed this. Right. They nailed the idea of like showing a married couple bringing a child into the world, the anxiety that brings, the joy that brings. Oh shoot, now we have to protect this baby. And then like the like mom power kind of like stuff is so effective and so good. So anyway, I took my kids to see it the next day because it was so good. Right. And they just like watched it in wonder. We saw Superman and we saw this. And I asked them afterwards, like, which one did you like more? And my son was over the moon about Superman. Okay. Because he was listening to, my son loves orchestral music. I don't know how that could have happened. Shocking. And he always is listening to John Williams music. Right. Again, don't know how that could have happened. So he's heard the John Williams Superman score that we all know. And it's in the movie. So he was really excited to see the movie. He loved the movie because, you know, he's 8 and he's going to love a Superman movie. Yes, and that's Superman is made for 8-year-old boys. Absolutely. Yes. And so he loved it and I was like, yeah, it was fine. You know, whatever. This we got done with, and because the score is so good and the movie's so satisfying at the end, I was like, did you like this or Superman better? And he was just like, he just looked at me. He was like, like, so that is a clear win to me. So yeah, I don't often enthusiastically endorse this kind of like franchise filmmaking these days because they really just, I'm like, oh, I'm getting older. I don't have time for this crap. Like, show me something. I missed a Scorsese. Let me go back and watch that. This is good. Yeah, really good. If you're sick, if you have the fatigue, or if you need an entry point. Honestly, I didn't watch like 6 of the last 7 movies or something, and I did not feel lost at all. Good. Yeah. What did you watch this week? Was it Fantastic Four? No. So for a variety of reasons, I have been pursuing
comfort viewing. And I say that regularly as if it's not what I'm always doing.
Right.
But
Every week you're like, this week I thought about some comfort viewing.
I know. Let's pretend that's not just what I do every week. And so
British or noir?
neither.
Okay. Rom-com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. Like
Rom, no com. Com, no rom.
let's just the romantic line is a subplot, not the main plot.
Okay.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Yeah. And I remembered that I loved it.
Yeah.
And that was about all
Yes.
I remembered. And so I just went back and was like, why did I love
Yeah,
this?
that's
And
it's a great why did I love this movie?
yeah, and so I remembered.
Yeah.
And it's, for those of you who haven't seen, like Will Smith and Adam Sandler both went through this stage where they had to prove they could do serious movies.
They did.
And then they got
Adam
over
Sandler's
it.
still doing that occasionally.
Occasionally.
Yeah. And then he just
so-
came out with Happy Gilmore too. That guy's got more money than
I
like
know.
Bezos at this
he's
point.
just doing what he wants.
Yeah.
That's good. Good for him.
That's fine. I'd rather have him have it than Bezos.
Yes. Yeah. And so this is Will Ferrell's mostly serious, but it's a quirky.
It does a bit. in
It's
both
got some
camps.
quirk.
Yeah.
And so he's playing a very rigid, structured person who you're watching him live his very structured life, and there's a narration voiceover, and Emma Thompson is voicing
All
over.
hail the queen.
Yes, is explaining what he's doing, and you're just kind of watching it, like, all right, this is cute, in kind of a vaguely Wes Anderson-y sort of influenced way. And then suddenly you realize, like, he stops, like, he brushed his teeth 32 times,
Mhm.
and then he just stops, and then like 33 times. And suddenly you realize he can hear the narration.
Yeah.
And so basically this all happens in the first 10 minutes, so it's not a spoiler. He realizes his life is being narrated and it's freaking him out,
Right.
as it would. And then you also have Emma Thompson, who you have her storyline where she's an author who can't figure out how to finish her book.
Yes.
And so you have...
You get the story kind of from both
yes,
sides. Yeah.
and so you have... is Will Ferrell the character in her book or not? And they're both trying to figure out what's going on. And it's clever and it's sweet. Maggie Gyllenhaal is sort of playing that manic pixie dream girl, which they were doing a lot of in the aughts.
I remember
But
not
she's
hating her in that.
Cranky. She's a cranky manic pixie dream girl, which
That's a lot of descriptors.
which makes her character less annoying than the cutesy ones. So
I was listening to this podcast once where they do this thing. It's actually Ben Lawhorn from Three Films and Podcasts was on our show a few seasons ago. They do this dumb thing on their show. So shout out to you guys if you're listening. You're probably not, but go listen to their podcast. Would the movie be better if Maggie Gyllenhaal was switched with Jake Gyllenhaal or vice versa?
in this case, no.
And so you think about like Batman. It's a good bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, I think it might be a little distracting.
It would be quite distracting.
He would make a good cranky manic pixie dream girl. Yeah.
So anyway, I remembered why I liked it. Oh, and Tony Hale has a great role in it, and Tony
good.
Hale's amazing. And who else was on? Oh, Dustin Hoffman.
Oh,
Dustin
he has
Hoffman
like the psychiatrist or
he's the
professor
he's a
or-
literary professor,
Yes.
but he's advising. He's helping Will Ferrell figure out what's going on.
I guess he's canceled, but he's really good in that movie.
He is good in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the line on that guy. Yeah, that's a fun movie.
Oh, and Queen Latifah.
Oh,
That's the other amazing
right.
thing is all of Emma Thompson's scenes, are Queen Latifah's. It's the two of them.
right.
And just like having all of these different series of just two-person scenes and having two powerhouse women in conflict.
They both have so much chemistry.
And they're so good together.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a pairing that you would naturally think of.
Yeah.
But
Well, they didn't do a 2-woman Broadway show together. They probably could.
They could, but they are so good at playing off each other, and anyway. So if you have never watched Stranger Than Fiction, it's not a romantic comedy, but it's got
There's some rum in there.
there is, and so it'll kind of fit in the same. It'll
It's
check
like
the
a
same
good,
box.
like quirky dramedy. Yeah.
That's probably a good way of putting it.
Also, one of those movies that like I was kind of afraid to go back and rewatch it because I was like, this is the thing that could be like oh, that was so clever and cool and fun.
Yeah.
And then you watch it and you're like, this kind of actually bad, but
Well,
I felt like it worked on a rewatch.
I think it works. In the aughts, they were doing that thing. I think Sherlock was the first one to do it on TV, but where you have writing on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
And like everybody was like, well, you can write on the screen. And so this uses it carefully.
And it's about like story writing.
Right. And it's like showing you all the things he's noticing. And and it works. It's not overdone.
Still good.
So yeah, go
Lots
watch
of
that.
2-person scenes in that movie. And you know what other movie has a lot of 2-person scenes?
Could it be a movie by Alfred Hitchcock called Torn Curtain?
That's it. All right. So we have this season been, I feel like we stuck to the format of the show okay.
Yeah.
Unless the movie had nothing interesting.
Well,
introduction-wise.
I'm going to make a grand confession.
Yeah. You don't know what it is.
I don't.
You don't know what this is that we're doing. That's fine.
The way I was going to phrase it was, I often forget mid-conversation what we're supposed to be talking about.
That's true. Well, roughly it's the intro, the review, the final thoughts.
Yeah, I know.
So we mix up the first two. Sometimes we mix up the second and third. This week is the perfect movie to keep it in line because there's actually interesting background stuff to talk about with this movie. Because it was a little bit of a surprise to us, I think we have plenty of review thoughts. So let's get into the background on this movie. First of all, we both, I think, appreciate Hitchcock. We spent time talking about Vertigo a couple seasons ago. I feel like I've seen a bunch of his movies, and the back section, like
the black and whites, the 30s, 40s.
Well, yes, I've seen I feel like most of, if not all, there's probably a couple in there I've missed, but like the later part of his career, the last, I don't know how many, because I told you before we started recording, I was like, what was his last movie? I got to look it up. This is in the latter part of his career. And those are the ones that are like, my awareness level is very low. We looked this up we were like, we got to find a movie from 66 or 67. And we were like, Alfred Hitchcock made a movie with Paul Newman and Julie Andrews in 1966, and it's called Torn Curtain. So my awareness level was super low,
right?
Which immediately led us to ask the question,
like, what is wrong with this movie?
It has to suck.
This has to be terrible that neither of us have ever heard of it.
And I think if you do a little looking around, reading reviews of the day, even modern reviews, people do think it sucks. Like it's pretty middling in the review world.
And he hated it, which I think is part of it too, is that he didn't even promote it like he promoted other movies.
He didn't do his Alfred Hitchcock does a commercial for his movie thing. He had a bad taste in his mouth after it came out because of the final product.
And I think the reasons, we can get into this as we go through the film, but I don't think this is, one of his best movies. This isn't Vertigo. It's not Psycho. But I think it's perfectly entertaining. It's a little uneven. But I think the reasons he doesn't like it are
icky,
dumb. And I are in it. Like the reason some of the reviewers didn't like it, I think they bring up some good points about it being uneven or whatever. But I think his reasoning is icky and gross.
I would not begrudge anyone being like, this movie's boring, I didn't like it, it's one of Hitchcock's worst. I could see all those perspectives. My experience watching it was like, I'm having fun.
Yes.
And like having fun with, I want to wait to be detailed about it, but like some of the things that people would say are uneven or boring or whatever, I thought were so cleverly executed that I think it's a totally valid take to be like, I just watched Psycho. That movie was incredible.
Sure.
And then I watched Torn Curtain and it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's like, well, first of all, the category of Hitchcock movie that this is not like high thriller or horror or murder mystery. It is one of his cloak and dagger movies, which he did a ton of. He's been making them since the 30s. So some people just don't, I think, love the kind of globe-trotty mystery ones, which is okay. Like the 39 Steps is a bit like this. North by Northwest is a bit like this. This is just like in the later part of his career, I think he was doing maybe just one thing primarily, and this doesn't match with that.
Well, yeah, I think if you're going in expecting Psycho or Vertigo,
no,
this isn't that.
No, but if you're going in expecting North by Northwest, I could.
Yes.
That, you know what I mean? Like,
No, it's that.
It's a good time.
And I'm going to blow up the system right now.
Okay.
Sorry. It's just happened faster than usual. Like, I am more likely to rewatch this than Vertigo.
I don't agree with that, but I can see how you would say that.
Yeah.
That was not supposed to sound mean.
That wasn't actually supposed to be an insult.
No, that just goes to our viewing preferences,
Yeah.
I think, a little bit. Okay, so intro to the film. Number one thing is that this is Alfred Hitchcock's 50th movie.
Yes.
Which is wild.
That is crazy.
Not a lot of people make 50 of these things. The few things that I noted, and then if you have anything on these,
sure,
feel free to jump in. The bigger story of the pre-production is the lead actors. He had a bunch of people earmarked, and they were some of his normals.
The women were like, he wanted one of his normal.
He wanted
blondes.
Cary Grant too.
Yeah.
And he'd been in a few.
And Cary Grant said, "I'm too old. Leave me alone."
He said, literally, I retired last year, I think was the quote I read. Yeah. So he wanted people that he'd used before. And in the female lead, he wanted the typical Hitchcock blonde.
He wanted Eva St. Marie, or is that her name?
Eva St. Marie. I saw Tippi Hedren. One other blonde that he had used before. So like he wanted to just like pull from the stock, basically the kind of woman that he likes photographing. And the studio said no, which I think is interesting because number one, this is like the story of this movie is a story of like his ego had grown beyond his belt size, which is obvious. And it kind of always was, he was always an aggressive force of a director, right? And that played itself out in a lot of ways. One, dude could direct the heck out of a sequence.
Sure.
And knew what he wanted and got it. Number two, he was like not good with people.
Yeah.
And on multiple levels, like not good with most actors is the vibe I get when I read interviews and stuff, but also like the stuff with women is like borderline abusive. I mean, borderline criminal, I would say. Like, but definitely.
Yeah. And he didn't want to pay them. And this is because this is one of his problems. And one of the reasons he hated this was he hated how much the leads were getting paid, and he hated how much the people he wanted to be paid.
Yeah.
And so
which is just weird. It's like, dude, you're Hitchcock. Can you get a bigger budget and
well,
like chill
and also
out?
like it's not coming out of your pocket.
No.
Like but
I think it's about power with him.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah.
And he was really angry that the actors wanted
some millions.
Well, they wanted the same sort of salary that any other director or producer would be willing to pay them.
Yeah. He had these people picked out and the studio said, no, you're going to cast two big, huge stars. So, I mean, Julie Andrews is coming off of Mary Poppins and stuff like that. Just huge hits. Paul Newman is freaking Paul Newman. Thank you again, Paul, the ghost of Paul, for providing all our intros. They're definitely not written by ChatGPT.
Absolutely not. We would never.
No, I mean, we would, but only if it's stupid. So that's the one thing is he did not like his lead actors. That's kind of a problem,
right?
When your director's not like it. The other thing is the music stuff, which is he used Bernard Herrmann, like that was his guy. So he wanted to use Herrmann. The studio said this needs to be more commercial. It needs to be more light, and so he hired Bernard Herrmann. Again, a power move. But then I think like in a telegram or in a memo or something said, "This is exactly what I want you to do. It needs to be lighter. It needs to be more commercial." And then Bernard Herrmann went and wrote a Bernard Herrmann score,
right?
Which is none of those things.
Right.
Hitchcock, I think, listened to like 4 bars of it.
Yeah, it was some incredibly short amount.
And sent the orchestra home.
Yes.
And told him, like, you've betrayed me. And they never worked together again. They never spoke cordially
after listening to literally less than a minute, maybe less than a minute of the score.
It's crazy.
And so, like, as much as I am going to throw a lot of crap at Hitchcock for how he treats women and what he values in a female role. He is throwing that same abusive ego at all sorts of people. I think
it is indiscriminate.
Yeah. It's not just that he's being horrible to women. He's being horrible to everybody.
He is. And like, I mean, there's been lots of directors throughout the ages who have been aggressive and power hungry and whatever. He's just a special case. Like, the thing that I read about Paul Newman and him, like they didn't get along on set mainly because of the two completely different philosophies on how to make a movie.
Oh, I love this. I think I know where you're going, and it's a great quote.
Hitchcock is the kind of director who he would, have a script either, hand it to him, and then he would, make edits or get new writers and whatever. And then he would have such a vision, because he's such a visual director. We all know that. Such a vision in his head for what the scene needed to look like, for what the shot needed to look like, for how they were going to execute all that stuff, that the actual like filming and like was kind of an afterthought.
Right.
Just show up, and he
really just wanted to work with puppets to a large extent.
Kind of. He would have been an interesting animator.
Yes.
The Newman and Hitchcock thing kind of came to a head because Paul Newman is famously a method actor, a guy who used the method acting philosophy or whatever. So like he needs to know about his character's motivation. And so he goes and he asks Hitchcock about his character's motivation, and Hitchcock says, your motivation is your salary.
Yes.
So like, just being a douche.
Well,
like,
and also because when I'm reading a spy thriller, like you're not, the plots always are a little shaky.
Sure.
And but I think for an actor to go to the director and be like, wait, why am I running now? Or like what is my goal? Like, what am I trying to get out of this conversation? Or what am I like? To me, that's just a really basic piece of storytelling.
It's such a part of their process, though.
I'm on Paul Newman's side, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like that's an easy question to answer.
It's an easy question. Yeah. It's like, what do I want?
He could easily say, well, because you
you need this piece of information from that man, or you need to escape whatever. And Newman is not asking for the moon here.
No, he isn't. But I think he might, because of the answer. He's a grudgy guy. Like he never talked to Bernard Herrmann again.
I know.
It's crazy. Like,
it's ridiculous.
He wrote every good score for every movie. Anyway, the last note I have, and then if you have anything else, feel free. Spielberg, a young Steven Spielberg, snuck onto the set when he was a youngin, probably like some assistant or grip or something at that point.
Sure.
And he was able to like stay for 45 minutes before somebody kicked him out, which is sort of interesting to think about.
That is interesting. I think my only other thing, and we may want to get into this later, I think this will make more sense when we're actually talking through the plot, is just the historical context of the Cold War.
Yeah.
I'm one of the very youngest Cold War babies.
Yep.
Right? Like I'm the oldest child. My younger brothers, I don't think really have an awareness of growing up in the Cold War. I remember it, but I was 10 or 11 when the wall fell.
Yep.
But I do have a memory of just the utter fear and of the Soviet Union and of communism, and like I remember that, and so as I was watching this movie, where it's very much a Cold War movie dealing with torn curtain, right? That's the Iron Curtain. I wonder if, and maybe you can answer this as we go, but like, are younger generations going to understand the terror that this plot line would have engendered in its original audience?
No. No way.
Because like to go behind the Iron Curtain was a death sentence.
Yeah.
Like when we spoil everything.
Yeah.
When Julie Andrews chooses to follow Paul Newman into East Berlin, like that's a death sentence. She has just she's just given up her whole life, and she's just said she's willing to die.
Says, I want to be with you.
I want to be with you, but like knowing that is the end of her life. She may never see her family again.
Yep.
She will not have a career. She's going to live in a more, I want to say maybe not poverty, but with fewer resources than she would. Like, and I don't think younger viewers today are going to understand what that decision meant.
Not automatically, no. I think you're right. I think that feeling in that cultural context is like not automatic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the movie does a really good job of like giving it to you,
right,
and like engendering the tension and all that stuff. So yeah, it is the coldest of Cold War movies. This one, and Mirage a little bit too last week, but this one just like kicks it up to 11.
Yes.
All right, let's get into it. Torn Curtain. All right, I'm going to say some nice things about this movie let's start at the very beginning.
Sure.
Not to quote Julie Andrews. But one of my first little I don't know about this thing. It's one of the most boring, lame title sequences.
It's the 70s. I wrote the titles are inching towards the 70s. It's all that like clouds and
faces superimposed on each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see that, and the text is just like on screen. And immediately after reading about this movie, it's like, it's not a Bernard Herrmann score. He got this guy, John Addison. This is not a Bernard Herrmann score. However, I will say, I'm thinking this during the opening credits. It grew on me.
Okay.
Like the tone of the score and like the way it undergirds the movie makes it feel. I didn't hate it by the time I got to the end, but I'm watching this title sequence. I'm like, this is gonna be
the titles were not good.
Yeah, and it like shows you weird little clips of the movie that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, and it is very 70s.
They listed 14 actors, I think, at the beginning, and like that's too many. Like we don't need.
Yeah, for a movie that has like 1,000 people in it too.
Yeah,
so it felt weird.
This is too many.
Anyway, after you get past the boring title sequence that is gauzy in the 70s way, and this movie's a little gauzy, but not obnoxiously so.
No, I did think it was funny. One of the opening scenes is our two leads in bed, and like the amount of like filter on both of them was like it was
you're right about that. It is inching towards 70. Like everything in the 70s had that like Vaseline on the lens look.
And I think like I'm used to seeing that on women, like them doing that for women, but they're doing it for Paul Newman too.
Newman's big baby blues.
And I was like, oh, get the Vaseline off the lens, y'all.
Yeah. It starts in Norway. They're on a boat.
I want to go to Norway.
I do too.
I just was like, oh, I want to go to there.
Yeah, it looks cool.
But not in the winter.
No, we would freeze as Californians.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the two leads, because as much as Hitchcock didn't want them to be in this movie, I kind of like them. Like
I think they're great.
I think they're really good. Yeah.
So a lot of critics, like back then and today, were complaining that these two don't have chemistry.
Not seeing that. From the first scene, I'm like, if they didn't have chemistry, this seemed to be unwatchable.
Well, and also they're running around trying not to get killed by commies.
Right.
Like
there's not a lot of kissy stuff in this movie.
And she's really mad at him for like a good
keeping all the secrets
for a good half hour or something. So like no, they're not like it's not a romance.
It's a
spy thriller.
They almost break up.
Yeah.
It's like a relationship is tense kind of a movie.
And they do that 60s kissy thing that's always like but the close zoom and the whatever. But I'm like, whatever. Anyway,
whatever.
It's the era.
I think more unbelievable at times than their relationship is their career.
Yes.
Not because, and honestly, it's not the worst version of this thing that I've seen.
No, I think it would have been worse with one of the blondes.
I do too, and Cary Grant, frankly.
Yes.
Like, I mean, maybe because he was, I don't know, older might help.
No, Cary Grant is not a scientist.
It took me a scene or two. Cary Grant is not a scientist. Put that on a t-shirt. Yeah, it took me a scene or two to be like, okay, I just have to be okay with the fact that Paul Newman is a nuclear physicist.
The only thing that got it was that he was actually a teacher. He couldn't keep a job as like an actual pure scientist. So he was a teacher. And when he's going behind the curtain to get the secrets, he doesn't actually know what he's talking about.
And he's not a good spy.
No.
And like he's a
terrible spy.
Because he's not a spy.
Right.
Yeah. So I kind of like the casting. Like it's one of those things where like it's unusual to put these two in this career mode, whatever, for this character. But I didn't hate it. I just didn't hate it. And
I think that like Julie Andrews, I'm going to make some assumptions here, but I would assume one of the reasons that Hitchcock didn't want her, well, one, he was forced to have her, so then he's going to not, right? That's human nature. But with all respect to Grace Kelly and Tippi Hedren and Eva St. Marie and whoever else.
The other blondes.
Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
While I know some of those women are extraordinarily intelligent and capable in real life.
Sure.
That's not necessarily what they primarily exude on screen,
and not in a Hitchcock movie.
Right? Like they are not standing there as competent people.
Yeah.
And when Mary Poppins is standing there, and who is also Maria von Trapp, who hiked over the Alps to save her children from the Nazis.
Yeah.
That is a competent woman.
Yeah.
And a brave woman. And I think she's perfect for that role. But I can also see like that is not what Hitchcock likes.
She's not weak.
She's not weak.
As a presence, but also like, I don't know what, maybe if you put a dumb blonde like in this part, it would read totally differently. But I think you're right. I think like Julie Andrews being the one on the other side of these relationship conversations, when they're running around doing, you know, kind of bad espionage or trying to stay safe. Like, I never get the feeling that he's like dragging her.
No.
You know?
And if you think about her decision to follow him into East Berlin, like for her, it reads as this is an intelligent, competent, capable woman who's making an informed decision.
She said, would you like to sleep on it? Yes, I'd like to sleep on it. It's like,
whereas I feel like if you had had one of those other people, it might read more of a like, oh no.
Whatever will I do?
I can't be on my own. I must follow the man.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that of the actresses in real life, but the way Hitchcock uses them, yes, I do. So I like the casting.
Yeah, I agree. I think we are probably in the minority, the vast minority, for not just people who kind of like this movie, but like these two leads in it. From all of the, I did sift through some Letterboxd reviews. Spoiler alert for the end of the episode. So, I not a movie where I want to go through every plot point because it is a twisty turny, kind of a spy story. Yeah, but the feel. Let's talk about like what it feels like, because I had a couple thoughts. Maybe a half hour in that I wrote down. One was because this is later era, because it's 1966, because the cameras look like what they look like and everything's in like Technicolor. I did have a thought, you know, even having watched Vertigo and reviewed it, Vertigo has some colors in it, as we discussed. This looks too new to be Hitchcock at times. It's very weird. Like that, maybe it's that slightly glowy kind of like edge of the frame thing, but it is weird to like think about like, oh yeah, Hitchcock directed this, because it almost feels like early 70s or something. That's number one. And number two is it looks really good too. Like
it's beautiful.
It's a really nicely lensed. I mean, one of the things Hitchcock does better than anybody, sorry if he was a tool, but like is where do you put people in? It's the mise en scène, like where do you put people in the frame? Does the camera move or does it not move? His camera movements are always so specific. They never feel like flashy for flash's sake. There's like one shot in this movie that is like a nothing burger. It's Paul Newman walking from one end of the room to the other end of the room, and there's people. It's right before he sneaks out to go to the museum, and like you don't see Gromek right away, but there's all these people scrubbing the floor.
Oh, the women who are scrubbing the floor.
Yes, and it's like this crane shot that swings at a weird angle and then watches him go out and then just sinks down and boom, Gromek's right there. And I was like, that was like poetry in motion.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the look is. I was constantly like, this. I don't even care if the acting is kind of crap and if the story ends up being kind of crap. People should watch this movie just to see him still like knowing how to make a camera tell a story.
And he does so much storytelling with just. I mean, it sounds silly to say with set design, but what you just explained, right? So they've been in Western Europe, they've been in Norway, where everything is very modern, and very clean and very bright and very colorful, and then they go into East Berlin, where everything is grays and blues, and whereas in the West you have like people with vacuum cleaners and like modern appliances, and then you end up in East Berlin, and he walks out of the elevator, and there's these three women in peasant garb, essentially scrubbing the floor
with like a pilgrim's brush,
right? With brushes, and it's like it is such a clean way of saying.
And
like,
Paul Newman's like in his nice suit,
and he's in his beautiful suit,
Yep.
just walking right through these women scrubbing the floors, and it conveys it all. It's like you don't need to say anything else about the difference between these two societies.
Yeah, it's really like I was half hour, 40 minutes in this thing. I was like, this is good.
Yes,
this is actually good. So. Let's. I don't know how many characters we need to kind of dig in on. It really
should we jump to the farm scene?
We can. Yeah. I mean, the two reasons. Here's like.
Yes.
We're not going to review every scene in this movie. Suffice it to say, it felt kind of breezy and watchable to me, and lighter in some ways than some of the gnarlier Hitchcock stuff you might have seen. It is again like it's a capery, espionage thing. And then we get to the farm.
Yeah.
Paul Newman's being chased. The one guy you probably want to know about is he's this heavy.
Well, this was standard behavior in the communist bloc or in communist countries was if you did have a visitor, and this still happens in certain countries today.
Yeah.
Whereas if you are visiting, you are assigned
he called them a personal guide.
That's what they usually call them, is guides or tour guides.
Yeah.
But what it is this is a person who it's their job to make sure that you don't make any contacts you're not supposed to make, that you don't, cause any ideological damage to the populace.
Yes.
And so it's his job to basically be his bodyguard, but his
slash babysitter.
babysitter.
So Paul Newman defects. And at first, he doesn't tell Julie Andrews anything. She follows him. And at first, it looks like he is defecting because the government cut the funding to his program. The one thing that this has in common with Mirage is both of those have a very specific plot device.
Yes.
Which is nuclear warfare is the fear. It's the Cold War. It's still in the world today, people, but we just don't think about it as much.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fine. I don't need to. There's too many other things to think about. But I think in Mirage, it was like, I have a way to make radiation fallout less dangerous. And the fear was, if you do that, people will be more apt to use nuclear weapons, blah, blah, blah. And this one, it is...
Honestly, I didn't even pay attention to what the science MacGuffin was.
It was kind of similar. It was, I have a way to make it impossible for someone to shoot a nuke and land it.
Okay.
So like
knock it out of the sky?
Like a defense system, basically.
Oh, okay.
And so if we can do this, then it will make anyone holding nuclear weapons, obsolete.
They won't shoot them at this because we can knock them out of the sky.
Because there's no way to actually use them, properly or whatever. It's something like that. So if you just accept that plot device and the machinations of how this works, the basis of it is Paul Newman he's trying to act like he's defecting so he can get to one East German scientist he's like, I need to act like I'm working with him, but get this one piece of information out of him. That's kind of the dance.
Yes.
And not let anybody know what's going on.
Sure.
He's at the farm because he's not really a defector. He is there to basically go on a solo spy mission.
Right.
He's not a spy. He's just a scientist.
And
he's doing it on his own. He's pretty bad at it.
He's bad at it.
Which makes the movie more interesting, I think. I don't know. If he was,
there wouldn't be a movie if he was good at it.
We wouldn't have a farm scene.
We wouldn't, yeah.
So he gets to the farm scene. The one thing he knows is there's a pi symbol that is related to this group that helps get people out.
So they're the people who are going to sneak him out once he's gotten the information.
They're called pi.
And he has to that's what he's doing.
It's not like a little apple pie. It's like the
pi.
mathematical symbol.
3.14, whatever.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, so why don't you talk to me about, because you watched this before me.
Yes.
I sent you a picture of this one wide shot of just them in the hotel room.
The East German hotel room.
And it's this incredible wide shot with her in this glowing amber.
It's beautiful.
Him in this dark blue corner. And he just sits on it for this. It's gorgeous. And I went, this shot is incredible. And you're like, wait for this other one.
Yes.
And you'll know what it is when you see it. And then as soon as this scene happened, I found the shot.
Yes.
So what happens in this scene?
All right. So Paul Newman takes a taxi out to this farm where he
kind of shakes Gromek at first.
Yeah, he loses Gromek, and then he gets out to this farm. But here's the deal, folks: when you're a spy making contact with your a fellow spy,
yes,
you don't take a taxi and leave the taxi driver just waiting there.
No. Especially when the taxi driver is sympathetic to the communist cause.
Yeah, that's bad tradecraft. Don't do that. But he does. And so he makes contact with the farmer and the farmer's wife and blah, 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 blah.
They're going to help get him out.
Yeah. But then while he's there, Gromek shows up. He catches up because there's a taxi.
Waiting there.
Yes. So Gromek, the farmer's out on the field again, but Paul Newman
runs inside the house.
Runs into the house because he's trying to leave, but then he jumps into the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the farmer's wife is there. And so Paul Newman is trying to tell Gromek, oh no, these are just relatives. I told, grandma I'd visit them or whatever.
Yes.
The farmer's wife doesn't speak English and Paul Newman doesn't speak German. And so they're kind of trying to play this off. Gromek doesn't buy it. And so
it's a great scene.
Yeah.
This guy is...
I'm minimizing it, but it's a long scene, but it's really good. Well, finally, they realize they have to kill him.
Yes.
And there is a gun, but they realize they don't want the taxi driver to hear a gunshot.
That's part of it. Yep.
And so they have to kill him. somehow. And then so they, the two men wrestle, and then the farmer's wife stabs the Gromit in the neck. So
Except
then
the knife
blade
breaks.
And so he's like bleeding profusely, but he's
still going.
He's still going.
Yeah.
And so actually the one thing I don't know is I wrote in all caps in my notes, hit him in the head, which they had a shovel. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just hit him in the head, but it may have just been a hard angle.
I think, part of the spine of this sequence, this is an incredible sequence.
Right.
It's brutal.
Yes.
It's not like, it's violent, but it's more psychologically violent than visually violent.
And Hitchcock said this fight, this death scene is so drawn out because he felt like the spy movies that had preceded it made killing a man look too easy.
This is the era of Sean Connery's Bond with the Walther PPK just going bam, 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 10 guys are dead. Yes.
And he wanted to make it clear that no, killing a person takes an extraordinary amount of
especially
of effort.
If you take the guns and the knives out of the equation.
Right. And especially if you're trying to do it quietly.
Yep.
And so
I think part of the hit him in the head thing is the way I read that was like, I want you to understand, I want the audience to understand how difficult it is to kill a man.
Right.
I think he meant physically, but I think he also meant like, there's so much like in both of their faces in this scene. Like, you can tell this woman is like ready to go.
Right.
She's part of the organization. They do what they need to do, but she's not like, she doesn't pull out a shotgun and blow his brains out. Right.
No.
Like they are both making every decision in real time, and it's agonizing.
Yes.
Because if you had to make those decisions in real time, you wouldn't be like, oh, I know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
these two men have their hands around each other's throats, essentially.
And it's like, it's the least pretty looking fighting.
So ugly.
Yeah.
But then the woman opens up her cast iron stove, turns on the gas.
Yeah.
And Paul Newman's like, oh, okay, let's do that. And she takes the shovel and just starts smashing Gromit in the shins.
Yeah, to get him to fall over.
To get him to fall over.
Yeah.
And while he's strangling Paul Newman, they manage to drag him over. And this was the shot.
Yeah.
Is that as they're trying to force his head into the gas-filled oven and keep their heads up above where the fumes are pooling, Hitchcock puts the camera
straight down,
directly above them, and it's just straight down. And so as they put his head in the oven, you can't see Gromit's head anymore, but you can see his hands and his body coming out of the oven, and their two faces are smashed up against the side of it, and it is both ugly and extraordinary.
Yeah,
and it's the scene of the film.
Yeah. It's one of the best Hitchcock sequences I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And like, there are 5 of those in Vertigo and a couple of them in Psycho and like a couple good ones in Northman. This one, I did not expect to see one of his best sequences in this movie.
That scene alone, this farmhouse scene, from Gromit entering until he's dead, it's worth price of admission.
And the buildup is so good. Like, I mean, none of the fight would be so effective if, what's his name? Wolfgang Keeling as Gromit. He is, it's like, as soon as it started, I was like, oh, Tarantino must have watched this, right? Because that opening scene in Inglourious Bastards where it just takes forever.
Yes.
It's just dialogue and you're getting to know Christoph Waltz as this Nazi guy, and then at the end there's just this like brrr, it made me think of that so much.
Yes.
This is more restrained, which is not a surprise. The other thing about the like murder part that I found so weird and effective, because Hitchcock is trying to do that, like in interviews he said, like, I want you to know how hard it is to kill someone. They literally drag the camera.
Yes.
And so like there's times where they're just like, they are across this farmhouse room from that oven, and it's like Gromit's not a little dude. He's kind of a husky fellow, and they have to like one at a time like pull, and Hitchcock shows the camera like sliding into their faces, or like you just like feel the ugly weight of all of it. It's that's a barn burner.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Like really, it's even if you just watch that scene.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah. Well, let's get to some other scenes.
Okay.
That's a wicked scene. The next chunk of the movie, the spy stuff, has to do with they buried the body, and they buried the motorcycle, and he's trying to find the information and get out, basically.
Yes.
I think the thing that I want to talk about is two sequences at the end of the movie, which are part of the plot. The first one is the bus sequence.
Yes.
Which I find equally hilarious.
Yeah.
And kind of awesome and
I
effective.
loved it. I loved it.
They eventually, after some things happen, they meet up with the rest of the Pi organization. They have a bus that runs on the same line as the real bus, and they go 10 minutes before so they can like leave in, you know, camouflage or whatever. But there's so much going on. Paul Newman, they found the body. They know he killed Gromek, or at least helped or whatever. And so like they're high alert. Everybody's on high alert. They're looking everywhere for him. What happens in this sequence is essentially that you watch the slowest car chase in human history. The bus is going like 28 miles an hour. And the thing is like, it stops a lot.
Yeah.
They stop because there's a roadblock, and then they stop because there's defected German troops who rob them, and then they stop for an old lady to pick her up. And the whole time the like tension building thing is there's the real bus is coming behind us. If they see both buses, they're gonna know we're fake. And it's like
and they're both going up the mountains
so slow,
and they're both like, you're just like going around corners, and sometimes you can see the other bus and sometimes you can't.
So the third thing in the line is the old lady.
Sure.
And I'm like, every time they stop, I'm like, Hitchcock, is Hitchcock having fun with this? Because he's done like chase scenes before. You know, like action, strangers on a train, you know, like action-y things. This is like the most low key. Like they're all just sitting on the bus, looking at each other side to side. There's this one lady who's all worried about it, and she won't shut up.
Right.
And you know, Paul Newman and Julie Andrews do not say like 4 words because they don't speak German, so they can't.
Yeah.
And so you're literally just watching a sequence of the slowest bus in the world being chased by the slowest bus in the world, and it stops, and then eventually the old lady gets on the bus, and she's not just an old lady, she has like 17 bags, and they look at her and they're like, are you kidding me? So they all just grab her, and like, and at that point I'm like, he's having fun with this. It's an effective 10 sequence, and he's like, how much can I wring out of a bus that goes 25 miles an hour? And I was like really impressed by it.
I have been in some tense border crossing scenarios.
Okay.
We'll just leave it there. That's what they're like.
Yeah.
Is like when you're trying to cross a border and it's difficult for one reason or another.
Yeah.
It's painfully slow.
Yeah.
It's not rushed. Like when you're trying to figure out, like when the French refuse to deal with your resident visa and you have to travel through Germany, and then they won't let you back in because you don't have the right visa because the stupid French won't process it.
Hypothetically.
But you know what works really well? You just look at the Germans and go, the French. And then they go, the French. And then you get to go wherever you want because everyone believes the French are incompetent at processing visas. But like when you're stuck in a no man's land of border crossings, or it is so tense and so stressful and so frightening, but and also so slow. Boring all at the same time.
I was really impressed by the balance of it. I'm sure this is one of the sequences where people are watching and they're like, this is the most boring Hitchcock thing ever. But I'm like, no,
it's tense.
The stakes are high. Like
they're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna get killed.
Just shot in the street.
They're just on the side of the road. They're gonna get killed. Like if they get caught.
That was the first sequence near the end that I wanted to bring up. The second one is similar, but way more compact. And it takes place in this one little detour in the movie, plot-wise. Which features Lila Kedrova.
Okay, this was the one part I didn't like.
As Countess Kaczynski. I could see people getting to this sequence and being like,
I would have cut her.
You can lift the whole thing out, and the movie does not change.
Like, you know why it was in there, right?
Because he liked her.
Yes, because he was. She was the only actor he could handle.
Yes,
because she was old and she was from the old school,
and he liked her performance, and he like had dinner with his wife and her
every night. Yeah,
yes, and so it's very interesting to me because she's not some floopy blonde or something.
No, but also her scenes don't need to be there.
They're
and they don't fit tonally.
They are utterly extraneous. I just think her performance is good. And so like I was watching it, like the snip points, the edit points are so obvious. Just don't bump into her on the street.
Right.
Go to the post office.
Right.
And you maybe like lose 8 to 10 minutes of the movie.
Which would be okay.
The only piece of it you don't get, which is I just think is an interesting perspective. But like at that point in the movie, if you're like, get to the end, I completely understand. I like the story there. And it's like kind of.
Yes. So she's playing a Polish countess.
Yes.
Right. Who is trying to move to America and needs a sponsor, which is true. Right.
Yeah.
If you're trying to immigrate, you need a sponsor on the other side. And part of this speaks to the desperation that people felt to get out of communist countries, to get out, especially East Berlin,
and in a lot of cases to the United States if
yes,
they could. Yeah.
And so her desperation and her willingness to do whatever she could in order to get this sponsorship, to get them to promise to sponsor her to come to America, it was very real. And the other thing that I think might get forgotten in history is that we talk about the oppressive police. I don't know what you want to call it, but the oppressive police forces of these Soviet bloc countries. But East Germany was the worst by far.
Yeah.
The Stasi in East Berlin were the worst of the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And when their records got opened, it's horrific how they were treating the populace. And so getting out of East Berlin was...
As like kind of a little old lady. Like that's what really like got me about her character was like, first of all, she's funny. And I'm like, this is not the Hitchcock movie where I need everything to be dour until the curtain closes.
Sure.
I kind of, because the movie was like on my wavelength, this little detour, it just didn't bother me. Like the scene in the coffee shop, she has like a couple lines that literally made me laugh out loud. And I did not expect to laugh one time during this movie. She says, do you have any American cigarettes? And he says, no, I'm sorry. She's like, oh, these Russian ones are so disgusting. They only put tobacco this much up. And she's like, they're so disgusting. Do you want one? She's like, just got good timing. Yeah. And then it's rangy. She like has to cry and be like, well, she's not quite blackmailing them. She's mostly just saying, I know who you are. I'll help you out if you help me out, kind of a thing. At the end of that, they agree to, because why wouldn't they? And she's talked about how terrible the coffee in East Berlin is. And she's like, oh my gosh, in celebration, I'll pay for the liquid.
Yeah. And so, but I do, as much as I would have clipped her out of this film.
Yeah.
I do think that her desperation to get out
is interesting.
And well, I think it adds to the tension of them getting out on the bus.
I think, and like what you brought up at the beginning, you asked the question, does anybody who watches this, like, who's not of maybe a specific
younger than me
age range or generation or whatever, do they have any bearing on like what the tension levels were? This is the kind of thing that, like, yes, it's late in the game. It does kind of grind the story to a halt, but it's like all for the purpose of being like, it's not just these two American beautiful people who need to get out of there. It's this like kind of pathetic old woman. I loved that scene, and I could this is a weird movie where I'm saying like, you can hate it and I don't lose any respect for you.
Right.
I just kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I also, the second low key tension scene that I'm into, not the slow bus chase, but the second one is the post office.
Oh, I wanted to smack her.
I know, but what Hitchcock is doing here, she's kind of annoying. Right. She just keeps asking for the guy,
and drawing attention to them, which is the problem.
Which is where, you're kind of like, shut up.
Yes.
Like everybody's looking at them, but what happens is like this excruciating back and forth. This guy just like going to grab a letter. Oh, we need Mr. whoever. I can't remember who she's asking. Alberta or whatever. There's some name.
It's a man.
Yeah.
Maybe Albert.
It might be Albert. Yeah. And she's like, Albert. And the guy's like, yes, one moment, ma'am. He walks by. This happens like 14 times.
Yes,
it goes
so many times.
Goes. And every time you think someone walks by, you're like, it's not going to be Albert. And Hitchcock just keeps going.
Yes.
Because you're right. Every time she says something, she draws attention to them. The cops are like lining up behind them in the background. And so, like, again, nothing is happening in the scene. There's just people walking back and forth at a post office, and yet Hitchcock is playing with it.
Yes.
And I was just like, man, I could totally see why people don't like this, but I see what you're doing here, and he's having fun with it. Like,
I think if you think it's boring, if a person thinks this is boring, it means they're not recognizing the stakes. And so the question is, why aren't you recognizing the stakes? And one, I would guess that's maybe not close attention, or maybe that's just a lack of education about what the world was. I said lack of education.
If you don't like this movie, you're stupid. Put it on a t-shirt.
But I do think
Cary Grant's not a scientist. Both of those things.
Now I want the T-shirt that says Cary Grant is not a scientist.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll put it on our merch store that doesn't exist.
I have a Maltese Falcon shirt.
Yes.
That I wear occasionally.
Yes. You need to add to that.
And Travis gets so many points for being one of the like
3 people
who know what it is. And yes.
Okay. Final sequence, final act. They have to go to the ballet and wait for a man with red hair. But there are 2 things in this movie. I kind of thought, might that come back? Probably not. Mm-hmm. One, the lady who's getting off the plane when he's getting off the plane to give his little press conference because he's quote unquote defecting is this kind of glamorous looking woman.
Right.
And they try to take pictures of her.
Yes.
And they're like, get out of the way. We want to talk to this guy. And she's like,
and she's so offended.
She scoffs. And then later on, they're sitting down at the ballet. She is like the prima ballerina doing all the spins and she recognizes him.
Yes.
And then at the end almost gets them caught.
Right.
So I thought that was a fun little callback.
And I liked that they were like, whatever ballet they were doing, they were in hell.
Yes.
And so there's all this hell imagery on this
fire. It's kind of funny. Like this is the thing. If people would just allow for this not to be like, ooh, this is going to be the creepiest, thrilling. Like I think this movie does tension really well, and I think it does tension relieving really well.
Yes.
So like they're sitting in the ballet, and the police are just starting to line up. Mm-hmm. Hitchcock does this really strange thing where she's doing these spins, and I thought my TV was like buffering wrong.
Yes.
And it like stops on her eyes and stops on her eyes, and it looks juddery and weird.
I couldn't figure out what was going on
until
you realize that they're trying to say like that's her recognizing him.
She stops in the spin or something. Yeah.
But they're pointing out that she's seeing him.
Yes. It's really interesting. And so she goes backstage and tells someone the cops start to line up and they're surrounded. Mm-hmm. They're surrounded and there's literally nowhere for them to go. He's looking around at the set and it's a hell set. And there's just this crappy little streamer things. And he just goes, fire. It creates this huge commotion.
It's so brilliant.
It's so good. And that's how they get out. The movie ends with them being stuffed into costume baskets and put on a ship, and then the ballerina tries to get them shot in the costume baskets, but they pull the old people in baskets switcheroo, and they get away.
Yes, they dive in the ocean and then climb up and then sit in front of a fire.
Yeah, that's
ironically
how they get out.
And I liked it.
Okay, the 2 questions are: is it worth your time? And how often would you rewatch it?
Okay.
If you would rewatch it.
Sure. Absolutely worth your time. Go into it with North by Northwest expectations and not Psycho expectations. And please take that last sentence in any way you wish to. I'll rewatch this again.
Yeah.
Soon. And like I said at the beginning, I'll rewatch it before Vertigo. I'm not saying it's better than Vertigo. But I am saying it's more entertaining.
It's less of an investment.
And it's just fun.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously the murder.
the Gromek part is...
The killing Gromek part's not fun
that's
necessarily.
What makes that more effective, though.
Yeah.
Like the movie is not that the whole time. And then it does that hard one time. Sure. And it sticks out in an interesting way. Yeah.
Okay. I have fun factoids.
Yeah. Share them, please.
You want me to do them now?
Yeah, do them now.
My first one, I'm just going to read notes. I'm going to read you notes.
Read me notes.
Julie
hit him in the head. Sorry, skip that one. Skip that one.
Hit him in the head. Okay. Julie Andrews is so good at escaping Germans.
She is so good at escaping Germans.
Okay, that was one of them. I hate the ballerina. That was another.
She is obnoxious.
Spies can't be that handsome and beautiful. This is the problem.
Yes.
You can't have good looking spies because then people notice them.
No question.
So don't
and
do
he's
that.
not a good spy.
And he's not a good spy. I think the last thing that's interesting is that the actor who played Gromek defected to East Germany after making this movie.
Wow.
He was so upset about the Watts riots and something else that he's like, forget this Western cultures, and he defected to East Germany.
That's crazy.
I know.
Because he talks about being from New York and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are my factoids. What about you?
Final thoughts. I think this is totally worth your time. There's plenty of people who would not like this movie. I know people who would be bored by this movie, but you'd be bored by a lot of movies. That's kind of the point I want to make is you can sink a whole lot lower into the boring or not worth your time or bad Hitchcock barrel even. This is the last note I wrote. It's just fun. it is fun. It's fun in the same way that North by Northwest is fun when he's like hanging off George Washington's nose on Mount Rushmore.
For sure.
There's stuff in this movie that you just don't get anymore. Like I was watching it and I was just like, oh, like I love matte paintings.
Yes.
Like I love real sets and I love matte paintings and I love giant wide shots of real things.
Yes.
If you want to like see some cool globetrotty stuff like that, I would totally put this on the list.
Did they film in Europe?
Yeah, there was a lot of on location stuff and a lot of set stuff. You know,
yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna say that German farm looked an awful lot like the Central Valley of California.
Yeah, totally possible that's true. That stuff just doesn't happen anymore, and so I feel like this is one of those interesting time capsules. But like more than that, it's like I think we all need to be okay with okay sometimes. And like this is not the best Hitchcock movie ever, but man, it's like totally watchable. It is totally watchable. The leads are solid. The story is interesting enough. Like I even like the parts that other people would think are boring, but even if you just kind of like, I don't know, zone out for one or two scenes here, it like ends on a note that feels right. This is the last thing I'll say. I would rewatch it. I'd probably watch it every couple years. Yeah. This is the first movie that I have rented because I thought I don't need to own that. Right. And I wish I would have bought it. Yeah. Like for that reason. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. We were going to close, but then I forgot. We have one more thing to do.
Okay.
Letterboxd reviews.
Okay. This is the part of the show where I read Annie Letterboxd reviews for this movie that she hasn't seen before.
Well, I'll take my glasses off and then I can't read it even if I want to.
Blind. And not hard to find bad Letterboxd reviews of this movie because it's not super well liked. They're all wrong. As Annie said, you're all stupid. And Cary Grant is not a scientist.
I'll hold by that one.
Okay. Number 1 comes from R. Thornhill. He says 1.5 stars. Has its moments, like the oven scene, but they are few and far between. This curtain should have remained closed.
Aww.
You're wrong. Okay, next. Annalia Verderi.
Oh, I wish I had my glasses on.
Yeah, don't look. 1.5 stars. People say this is Hitchcock's worst film. I enjoyed it somehow, but it's still terrible.
I don't think it's terrible.
It's just not. It's not. You're wrong. But that made me laugh. 1.5 stars. These are a lot of 1.5 stars. Brian Loomis. Is it a shame that Hitchcock couldn't make a better movie with Paul Newman and Julie Andrews? Yes. But is it really all that bad? Also, yes. Oh, that's funny. Okay, last but not least, from Susie Dragnet, which I'm sure is a very real name. 1.5 stars. I am never going to the ballet with Paul Newman. Okay, well, we sort of got our Neil Simon fix the other week, but not really.
No, we need more.
It wasn't primo Neil Simon. I think The Odd Couple, next week's movie. We're getting to 1968. The last 4 movies are from 1968.
That was a good year for films.
We're going to pretend like 1969 doesn't exist.
Nope.
We're going to have a special new guest on and hopefully have a good time with, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau.
I loved Walter Matthau.
I do too. He's a good jowly face, isn't he? Anyway, listen in next week. Bye.
Let the movie speak.